Hey guys, and welcome to Gaming Daily. Some of the top stories of today: Battlefield 2042's Easter egg hunts are thoroughly underway. And also, big creators are now making videos on constructive criticism on Battlefield 2042, and some say that it should have been delayed until next year. And the possibility of Battlefront 3 being put into production very soon. A lot to talk about in today's show, guys. Make sure you strap in. Let's get into it. So today's first story to cover on Gaming Daily is around Halo Infinite, and this is around the Act Man. The Act Man put a video out yesterday titled "I'm Salty About Halo Infinite," and when we watched the video and we learned that the Act Man was not approached by 343 at all around Halo Infinite. In the last couple of days, we actually heard from a lot of the different Halo content creators and even other media outlets that they've been able to play Halo Infinite since January, and they've been giving constructive criticism around that game since then, and even some were before that. To me, this is a real big positive. Again, 343 have taken a lot of constructive criticism from Halo YouTubers and Halo creators and even media outlets that are very familiar with Halo and the franchise, and giving criticism on what they didn't like about Halo 5, for example, and what they loved about the previous games. And again, this is going to help make the game a lot better than previous 343 titles, having feedback from the community on what they loved and what they didn't like. However, learning that the Act Man didn't have any power or decision into Halo Infinite, or wasn't even able to play the campaign early. For one, it makes me sad because I know how passionate the Act Man is, and if the Act Man ever watches any of my videos, then, you know, man, I love your content. The reviews you do on Halo, the reviews you do on games in general, you have a really good perspective on looking at both sides. And for me, if you were able to give feedback, I guarantee it would have been a better game because of it. But of course, in his video in very high level, he goes into detail and basically says that he doesn't really know why that he didn't get the call up from 343 to give the feedback or to play the campaign early. He lives 10 minutes away from the studio, so yeah, it would have been really feasible. And again, we don't really know why this is the case anyway. So again, we'll keep you guys up to date with exactly what goes on with that as well. And of course, if 343 do decide to reach out to Act Man to give him the first 4 hours of the campaign to preview, and of course do a video on, then of course we'll keep you updated with everything goes on there. But yeah, a pretty interesting story to cover to start with. Also on screen right now, Halo actually tweeted out an image which shows all of the Infinite campaign release times on November the 8th around the world. So again, you can look at where you are at the moment, pause the video, have a look at exactly what time it comes out in your location, and that's when you can play Halo Infinite, of course. Of course, there'll probably be YouTubers and different creators that have got the game early that can post content early on it as well, but in general, to the general public, these are the times that you can play the game and that it will come out in your region. Keeping on the topic of Halo, a couple of updates have been pushed out by 343 to the multiplayer side of Halo Infinite as well, and they are as follows. A small update for Halo Infinite is now live on all platforms. Improvements include a round timer for oddball and matchmaking, more accurate Halo credit balance on Steam, and big team battle stability improvements. These are just a few of the updates that have been sent out as well, but again, I'll leave the article in the below. You can go and have a look at the beta release patch notes and see exactly what has been changed. Only a couple of small things, but again, I thought it was worth bringing up in this as well, just so you can see they are actively making improvements to the game. Of course, for those that didn't know as well, the Battle Pass issues that have caused an uproar in the community have been addressed ever so slightly by 343 adding a challenge, which means that you get XP per every game you play. Now, this is just a challenge. This isn't actual in-game XP, but at the moment, as it stands with no double XP, you get 50 XP per game because of this challenge that goes towards your Battle Pass. So at the least, you are consistently ranking up your Battle Pass every single game that you play from now on. 343 have also increased the duration of the double XP tokens from 30 minutes to 1 hour. So of course, now, instead of just getting 50 XP when you activate one, you get 100 XP for an entire hour rather than just a 30-minute duration. One more thing I found really interesting as well is that Halo Infinite has a lot of good feedback and a lot of concurrent players compared to the likes of Battlefield 2042. Now, of course, with the game being free to play, this is obviously giving it a huge push in numbers. Now, as you can see on the image on screen right now with Halo Infinite, you can see that around 19,900 people have given it positive reviews, whereas 7,000 have given it negative reviews. On Battlefield 2042, you can see 4,000 positive and 14,000 negative, right, with 140,000 people playing in-game at the moment on Halo Infinite, with only 90,000 on Battlefield. So yeah, really interesting as well. These are just Steam records as well. This is not console at all. So as you can imagine, you can probably times this by 4 or 5 to get the more accurate number as well. So there are a lot of people at the moment playing these two games, but yeah, Halo Infinite, of course, being free is the reason why there's probably more people playing it. But yeah, the reviews They speak for themselves. The next story for today is going on Battlefront 3, something that I never thought I would be talking about on the channel because I didn't think it would ever happen. But again, there has been some speculation discussions within DICE or within EA around Battlefront 3. And again, this is quite a long thread from Tom Henderson, so I'm going to go through and read it all out. But yeah, to keep you all up to date with exactly what's going on with that. Okay, so the tweet starts off by Tom Henderson and says that Battlefront 3 was a pitch title from DICE, but ultimately the title was shot down by EA due to the licensing costs. It got turned down because it takes 20% more sales to make the same money, said one past developer. Although it currently seems that DICE is working on Battlefront 3 and instead another Battlefield, there are currently 2 Star Wars titles in development under EA. But it appears that those titles are more story-driven single-player titles instead of multiplayer. Since several key developers that currently worked on the Battlefront titles and the Battlefront series have left the DICE studios in the past year, including the likes of Battlefront 2's creative director, Dennis Banval, core gameplay designer, Christian Johannes, and lead hero designer, Gilliam Morons, it would indicate that Battlefront 3 is very unlikely at this point. I've seen the build file from DICE's next title in October, currently just dubbed Dev Next, which indicates that the title has passed Gate 0, which is the conceptual stage. This stage usually takes a few months of time. These processes are standard throughout game development, and although it might appear counterproductive to start pitching concepts on one title before the other is launched, it did not take away the development time of Battlefield 2042 before the next rumor starts. As development on the next game continues, most Frostbite devs left October the 29th, with another studio leaving soon after. I will keep everyone updated. It should also be said that development can change at any given time and the next title has started development right now. But if Battlefront 3 ever gets green lit and starts development for whatever reason, I'll break the news. So again, a lot of internal issues within EA around licensing costs and things along those lines. With Battlefront 3 as well, that's again a big problem with that, because again, it's going to take, as I mentioned, a lot more copies to be able to make the money back, or the same money they would make on, for example, Battlefield title. There are a couple of other Star Wars games in development at the moment, which are more story-driven ones, which again is cool for those that like that. But again, the ones that like that multiplayer-driven Star Wars kind of game, you may be left hanging for quite a while. Next story of today was one that broke yesterday, but I want to cover it in today's show, and that was around the new Warzone map being delayed by a week. So again, Vanguard or Warzone Season 1 going into the new update or the new year of COD has been delayed by an additional week. And again, the update on screen is as follows. Season 1 of Vanguard of Warzone Pacific will now release on December the 8th. Vanguard owners will have a 24-hour exclusive first play access on the Caldera map. Open access begins on the 9th of December. Again, we don't have an exact reason as to why this has been delayed, but again, it has been delayed for an extra week. So again, instead of playing it on the 2nd of December now, we are able to play it on the 8th for those that own Vanguard. So again, it is interesting for that perspective. But again, let me know anything down in the comments of that. And are you really that bothered of it? If you are, let me know. And finally, going on to the last story of today, which is around Battlefield 2042. And this particularly is around Jack Frags and a couple of other creators that have made some videos going into the detail and giving constructive criticism around the state of Battlefield 2042. And again, some things that they think the game needs to be better at the moment. After watching a couple of the creators make their videos and give their feedback, a lot of the common themes were around the game not feeling completely finished, that although at its core the game felt fun and that the game was good, a lot of it was lacking content, the game did not feel finished, and that there wouldn't really be a sense of bother if the game was delayed another couple of months. Now, I personally agree with this. I feel like Battlefield 2042 should have been delayed by an extra couple of months. I don't really think it should have been released in the state that it's currently in, and that I don't think the community would have been really that bothered if it was delayed by an extra couple of months. From server performance issues to just general PC issues where people using top spec machines are getting frame rate drops below 70, 60, 50 FPS at sometimes. It doesn't make sense. It's not in a good state at the moment, and I do believe that if they did take some extra time to develop and to optimize this game, it really would have had a better reception, and overall it probably would have been a much better experience for a lot of people. Again, this is another example of a game being rushed out just for those Christmas sales, and again, it really has taken the hit like Cyberpunk did. That was rushed out because of the Christmas time sales and the amount of additional revenue that it would have got at that time of year being released. If this game was released in March, it probably wouldn't have seen as much success in sales, but again, returns are probably going to be quite high with this game because, yeah, it's not in a very acceptable state at the moment. Also, on the topic of Battlefield, the Easter egg hunts have began. Now, there was a creator called Dreadsy that found like a hieroglyphic on the wall within Battlefield, and this looks really, really cool. Could this be the start of an Easter egg hunt or a particular Easter egg within Battlefield? I know Battlefield have been really, really prominent in the past for giving out really cool and unique Easter eggs around the map. There was a lot of different Battlefield Easter eggs that have always been really interesting, and I'm hoping that this year there's no exception. And with the storyline being tied to Battlefield 4, and of course with the storyline sounding really, really cool, I'm hoping that there will be some really cool Easter eggs coming this year that of course we're going to cover on the channel, so make sure you guys are aware, stick around for that. And yeah, it's going to be really, really cool. But yeah, I just thought I'd bring that here, guys. If you guys do have any Easter egg hunts, or if you guys do find anything with the Easter egg, or even try to do the Easter egg, of course, do let me know with that. We'll be covering it on the channel here anyway. But again, yeah, really interesting to find that out. But guys, that's all the stories to cover in today's show. I hope you have enjoyed. And again, make sure you do drop a like on today's video. It'd be much appreciated. Subscribe, of course, to keep up to date with all the latest and greatest gaming news. Of course, when I get the scoop, I will, of course, keep you in the loop. But guys, have a good rest of your day. Drop a like on today's video. Make sure you do share with your friends as well to get the latest updates. It's been Gaming Daily. We'll see you guys tomorrow.